Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Trust you're suitably refreshed. Now, as promised before the break, we will now be heading into our first Forum Sparks talk. This one is about smart cities, and for this one, we'll be hearing from a gentleman named Dr. Victor Pineda. Now, allow me to consult my notes here because he has so many important roles. Not only is he director of the Inclusive Cities Lab at the University of California, Berkeley, he is also president of two very impactful organizations, one being World Enabled, and the other one being the Global Alliance for Accessible Technologies and Environments. Further to this, he has also twice been a US presidential appointee. So we are very honored to hear him speak for this Forum Sparks talk. Thank you, Dr. Victor Pineda.
Thank you so much. It is an honor and a pleasure to be back in Dubai, a place that I call my second home. Dubai is a place full of vision and imagination, but it's also a place that challenges us to push beyond what we think is apparent and what we can believe is possible. My background is as an urban planner. I think a lot about cities, and I had the great honor to actually come to Dubai between 2007 and 2010 to work on my doctoral research and look at how Dubai was positioning itself to become one of the world's most accessible cities. That topic is something that I care a lot about because my life was shaped by exclusion. When I was 5 years old, my mother brought me to school, and the school had told her, "I'm sorry, we will not be able to educate your child. Your child can't walk, and most likely will not have a future where they can work or create a family. Better keep him at home and educate him at home so he's not bullied at school." So I was denied my human right to an education as I had just started my life. This was in Venezuela, and that all changed when we moved to the United States, where I had great opportunities to develop my potential. Why? Because there was a structure in place, there were policies in place, and there was awareness and the imagination of what was possible. So a child that was discarded became a child that was included. And the example that I like to give is that Miss Deerings at Royo Anderson Elementary School, the first day of class, said, "Children, we have a new student. His name is Victor. He's going to need a little bit of help getting to the cafeteria. But whichever child volunteers to assist Victor will get an extra 15 minutes of playtime." So all the hands went up, and I became the most popular kid in the class. That's the power of inclusion, is creating a sense of respect, a sense of empathy, and a sense of belonging. I felt like I belonged just as though Bobby had glasses and Sally had freckles, I had a wheelchair. But that didn't have to be something that would shape my life in a negative way. It could be something that could spur me, and as we say in the UAE, build a sense of determination. A determination to give back to society and to help heal and to help grow, and now, more than ever, to help reimagine the future that we want to build. Now, I had the great fortune, thank you very much. Thank you. I've had the great fortune to have worked at the highest levels of government and with leaders across industry, at the United Nations, at the World Bank. I was one of the youngest people to negotiate an international human rights treaty, which is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. A binding international treaty that really sets a framework for what inclusive design, inclusive development, and inclusive public policies could look like. I've dedicated my life both as a professor of urban planning, as an advocate, but also as a champion for innovative solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems. One of the things that I'm most proud of, though, is the work that I've done here with many of you in the UAE. The United Arab Emirates has always thought of itself as a hub for innovation and as an example and a role model for the region. As I had come to the UAE, I had realized that there was a tremendous opportunity to create a model that respects and responds to the God-given potential of each human being, irregardless if they have difficulty with seeing, with hearing, with moving around, or if they may have difficulty remembering. The real challenge of a society is how it responds to the most vulnerable members of that society and how it empowers those elements of society to contribute to the building of the nation. Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, gave that challenge very clearly in 2007 and inspired me to provide my technical skills, my expertise to contributing to this issue, which is how do we create a country that allows all people to benefit from and contribute to the building of a great nation. Now, I was able to work with the United Nations on negotiating the SDGs, particularly as a professor of urban planning. My focus was on SDG 11, and it includes very clear targets to building inclusive and resilient cities. In the next panel, I'll help address how sustainability isn't just about climate change, but it's about social sustainability. It's about reimagining the systems that can create exclusion or can build inclusion. And what role does innovation play in creating these transformations? How does cloud computing, artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles change the equation of somebody like me being seen as a liability to society, as a cost to society, or as an asset, as somebody that can contribute to generating the new ideas? There could be a Stephen Hawking's born today in Dubai, and that is our collective responsibility for mankind to allow her potential to be realized, to be able to contribute to solving these challenging world problems, to be able to understand that the transformation we seek will not be achieved in isolation. The Sustainable Development Goals cannot be achieved one by one, but actually by integrating and innovating and disrupting the attitudes, beliefs, governance structures, economic models, and political frameworks that can help us create that much more empowered, much more imaginative future to build the lives and the cities in which we want to live. I've launched 2 months ago with the German government in 12 cities an ambitious project called Cities for All. The Cities for All global initiative is going to have 3 components: a global compact on inclusive and accessible cities, which gives you the framework to understand how to build in inclusion into your work on resiliency, into your work on smart cities, into your work on innovation, into your work on environmental sustainability. The framework can be applied and can help you connect the dots. The second part of the initiative is going to be a global community of practice. Community of practice meaning that experts that understand how to solve these inclusion challenges can work together to ensure that a national resiliency strategy is also inclusive of people of determination, or a national AI strategy is also inclusive to people of determination, right? And the third pillar is going to be a global summit on inclusive and accessible cities. And we'll be working with 4,000 mayors, a network of 4,000 mayors, to launch the first global summit on inclusive and accessible cities in Durban, South Africa, in November of 2019, with mayors all over the world to take concrete actions forward. Now, if we can see a young girl here in the United Arab Emirates who might want to study computer science or might want to build the most innovative app for making Dubai a smarter city, but she has difficulty seeing the computer screen. She shouldn't be left out from her desire to contribute to change the future of this great nation. And that's why I'm very proud that so many efforts over the last years have identified and removed those barriers. The Smart Dubai Academy, for example, and the Smart Dubai team has ensured that every government website is going to meet accessibility standards. Now, this ramp allows me to go on stage, but the ramp and these technical codes that I'm talking about are also in the digital sphere. So how do we build these smart and inclusive cities of the future? How do we know how to do that? There are examples already taking place here in Dubai. So as we think about those policy frameworks of the future, we should remember that the future is accessible. The cities that will win the future are the cities that will allow all members of society to contribute their potential, their talents to the development of the nation. Now, in terms of very practical steps that we can each take, I want to give you a little homework assignment that you can take back and you can put it into the work that you do. Number one, what are the policy frameworks? What are the laws that exist that really require us to think about inclusion? There's UAE Federal Law 29 of 2006. There's the Dubai Law number 2 of 2014. These require us to make these interventions happen right away. Number 2, executive and budgetary support. If you lead a local authority, you lead an organization in the public sector or the private sector, have you adequately addressed the capacity to execute inclusion? Do you have a budgetary allocation to ensure that it's not just leadership that is with words, but it's leadership that is with actions? Number 3, institutional and coordinated capacity. And this is where we fall short in many parts of the world. Is do we have the open channel of communication between the various different sectors to ensure that we can identify and eliminate these barriers to inclusion? Number 4, attitudes. Do we understand some of the limiting beliefs or the ways that we think about people with disabilities or older persons? And how do we change that? The whole push for people of determination under His Highness and a lot of leadership in the UAE is to help us reimagine some of our own stigma, some of our own attitudes, and really reframe that approach. And then finally is participation. Participation is linked to Sustainable Development Goal number 17, which is about partnerships. I've been a partner in the United Arab Emirates on building these issues, on creating this track record and these changes, and I will continue to do so. But you have leaders in the UAE that understand these issues with great level of detail. So creating a dialogue where persons of determination, older persons, can speak about their needs, their opportunities, and their hopes in the work that you're doing becomes vital as well. So as we move forward, this framework that I've just given you is a gift, is my gift to help you identify a roadmap towards a more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient future where we truly leave no one behind and we truly demonstrate the power and the vision of building a future that we can all be proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pineda, for that gift and for being generous enough to share with us your personal experience as well as your extensive knowledge in this field. As you've mentioned, Dr. Pineda will be remaining on the stage for the next panel, which is going to be about policy challenges and opportunities for smart cities. As I invite the moderator and your fellow panelists to the stage, we will be playing another brief video to give you a bit of context. Thank you.